Hello everyone, welcome to my latest review of a Bionicle set. That being said, I have not yet done a Bionicle review. This will be my first, and I am glad to say that this is going to be really good. This is actually the first set of the new Bionicle 2016 line that I have gotten. It's the special uniter set of Kopaka and Melum. Kopaka being the uniter of ice, and Melum the creature of ice. These two can only come together in a special unity set, as it says right there. On the box, you can actually see Kopaka, Melum, the special mask that comes with the set, as well as their combined form, which I apologize if you cannot see that, but I do have a glare in my room. One thing I did find interesting was that on the top of the box, for those of you who have followed Bionicle since the Gen 1 series, you might recognize this symbol. Yeah, they brought the Nuva symbols back. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's take a look at the figures. In this set, you actually get Kopaka himself, the uniter of ice, and Melum, the creature of ice himself as well. And you also get the special golden mask. I have not yet read any of the lore on these things, except for a little bit on Melum. So, let's get things out. Let's get Melum out of the way first, seeing as he is the smaller of the two. Melum is, at the dawn of time, whenever Okoto was first created, 6 elemental creatures were born, each representing a separate element, of course. Being the creature of ice, he has unwavering loyalty and valor. This is Melum. He is really, really cool. I have to say, this is really, really awesome. I really gotta love the complexity, and yet also a bit of simplicity within him. He does have a bit of nostalgia with him too, but we'll get to that in a bit. Here you can see that his feet are the standard protector feet, and, well, that's pretty much it for that. And he's also got small little skeletal pieces in trans light blue, I should say. He's got a new armor piece for his chest, as well as these two of these little things on him. One on his back and one on his face as the horn. Yeah, you might recognize these as some of the spikes that came on the Pohatu set. Nothing big there. He does come with new claw parts, though, which I find very cool in trans light blue. He does also come with new armor shell pieces that actually look really cool. They go from solid gold to trans light blue. And his hands are actually made of the shoulder armor pieces that Kopaka, Master of Ice, actually had. Now let's take a look at his head. Yeah, this thing is actually awesome. You can actually see his eye right there, which is really cool. And I love the tribal markings on the head. Ooh, really wicked awesome. Now, he has a nice little gimmick in this form, in which this, I'm guessing, is probably his tail. And it has basically an arm opening and closing thing that you can use to grab or slash your his enemies with. Very cool. His arms also are on these skeletal joints that actually give him a very decent range of movement, but you can't move back one arm without moving the other because they are done like a gearbox. It's a little annoying, but with a little finicking around with it, you can get him into some pretty decent poses. Like, for instance, let's see if we can get him in a right pose here. Michael Flatley, or rather, Melum Flatley. I'm sorry. Had to say a joke at least once. Now, his head is also on a skeletal joint in solid black. And I gotta say, Lego actually did something really nifty here. Being able to give you a posable head like this, to be able to pose it any which way you want to, that's pretty cool. Now, what I meant by nostalgia... Oh. I forgot. You can pretty much go like this, or swing it out like this. Now, what I said about nostalgia earlier, actually, I was not lying about that. If you look carefully at him, he almost kind of reminds you of a Borak from the old Gen 1 series. With the way his head is shaped like this, and the way it can just snap forward like this, and this, like this. Plus, the legs are really short, and the claws look like the old Borak shields a little bit. So, I wonder. Well, then again, I've already done this, apparently. Let's see if I can get him into a semi-usable Borak shape. Let's rotate let's move the feet like that. Rotate the feet like that. I know it's not going to be perfect, but oh well. It's a new generation toy. You gotta get used to stuff. There we go. Best I can manage. Yeah. Really weird looking Borak, but it's a bit of nostalgia to it. The way he looks like a Borak. Pretty neat. However, we'll come back to him later. Right now, let's just get him back to GUR mode and we'll get back to him later. Now we are coming to look at Kopaka, and I must say they actually outdid themselves with this upgrade. I mean, this is like Nuva Kopaka all over again. Unlike the 2015 version of Kopaka, this Kopaka does not have the ability to go dual weapon mode. But he does have some cool options here. Like, for instance, he still has, but let's put this to get this out of the way. The feet are just the standard Toa feet from 2015 that he had. The legs are trans blue shins and shin skeletal pieces, and a few friction extenders actually are on the ankles this time, unlike usual. Unlike other Bionicle sets, which I actually like that, because it gives the figure a little more stability whenever you're trying to get him in decent poses. he's got the standard white armor pieces from the last set, but he's also got Melum's arm guard armor pieces as well. The leg, now he's also got this on his hip. I can only guess that that's like refill ammo pouch or something, but we'll get to that later. I'll explain why I think that later. The hip The hips are actually the new feature for this Kopaka. I don't know if it's the same for all the other Uniters, but we'll see in the future. It has a new gearbox feature where it's not really gearbox, it's just you turn the crank and he can now swivel at the hips, but it can only go so far, which is actually good. I'm glad that they actually made stoppers on this thing, so that way you don't go too far with your rotation, because you could end up screwing something up. Gotta give Lego props for that. It's a little stiff, but at least it can hold the pose. The body was created a different way altogether. It just looked weird. You got two Borak eyes actually filling out the body, making it a little more presentable, instead of just making it a full skeletal structure. And it does actually have one of the new armor pieces as part of his back, and I just love the idea, because it just really just fills everything out. It doesn't leave it looking like a huge skeleton in the back. They did that with the other Kopaka, but on the other Toa they didn't really do that. Now, for the arms, they actually, you have to, normally you just stick some pieces together and lather them up with armor parts. Not this time. Instead, this time, they just decided, they decided to completely refit the whole bicep and tricep area, and just made it a whole conglomeration of parts. Like, you could see a brand new shoulder armor piece here on both the arms, and just look at the complexity of these arms. They've also got some dark blue armor pieces as well, and some trans blue arms and forearm skeletal pieces. Very, very cool. Now we're getting into the chest. This whole chest piece right here is awesome. I have to say, it is really cool. Much better than 2015 Kopaka's chest. And I just gotta say, I love this thing. And if you can see it right there, there you go. You can actually see the Nuva symbol of ice right in his chest. And I can only guess that the other Uniters have the old Nuva symbols on their chests as well. Very, very neat. The arm posability is a little bit limited, seeing as how you've got these shoulder pads on them, because you can't really get them all the way around and everything, and you can only go so high with them. That's a detriment. I mean, you want something that can just go all the way up instead of being stopped by armor. It's a little bit of a detriment, but what are you gonna do? They had to make some sacrifices somewhere. Might as well be a little bit of the posability in the arms. Oh well. Kopaka's new head is basically the same as the last head sculpt, but with a new eye stalk. The front part of the eye stalk is the same, however, the back of the eye stalk is now completely has been completely shortened, making it a lot harder for you to actually hit the back of the stock by accident. But you can still pop the mask off with it. Really, really cool. But still functional too. And it's a nice light blue eye stalk too. Just like the last Kopaka. Now we will come to the weapons that Kopaka has, and in this you actually have a nice little shield, a hand-mounted shield, what looks like an elemental ice blaster. Looks to be like an upgraded version of the ice blaster that the Protector of Ice gave him in the first arc of the Gen 2 series. This also has to say it's not that nice, and I'm not gonna bother shooting it off, but you can shoot it like back in 2015. Just take this and twist it, and it pops off the little studs. And this is what I was actually getting into. This little part right here, yeah, it's barely held on. I mean, look at the thinness of this wheel, and look at how much is left here. You basically have nothing holding it on there. But it does add a little bit of functionality, little more practicality to the figure, as it looks like it could be a refill of ammo for Kopaka, which I think is actually pretty cool. Now they can be very, very practical with this thing. Because, I mean, nothing has unlimited ammo. And I mean, these could be like spares or something in case you lose one. And the handle function for it is actually pretty good. Hidden behind the shield, that's really cool. And the shield itself is made up of two separate shield parts that are sandwiched together, and that's really cool. Unfortunately, I have a bit of a grievance against these. These actually are not printed decoration. These are stickers. And I've already screwed up with applying one of them. As you could probably see, the little glare there is crap. Oh well. Kopaka can hold it very nicely, and he can aim it. Oh, that is a problem. I did neglect to mention that you can't really hold it out like this whenever you're posing him. That it cannot go back, or you cannot have it out like holding it upside down or something like that. However, with a little finagling, you can actually have him do like this. But then you wouldn't be able to move the head very well. As a matter of fact, you can't move the head like that. But with a little finagling, you can get him into a decent pose with that. Next comes the sword, and I have to say this is pretty neat. It comes in two parts. Whenever you had to put it on Kopaka's hand, which that really wasn't exactly a smart thing, but oh well, it's made up for with the coolness of the design. It's made up of two new sword blade pieces that are just wicked awesome, and it even has a little harpoon piece in there, and these horns as hand guards. Oh man, you have gotta be kidding me. This thing is cool. I would not have thought this possible. I couldn't even design something this good. This is wicked. I have to say, LEGO really knows how to design their stuff. Now we'll get into the mask. He comes with two masks. This first is what seems to be a normal powered mask of ice. Maybe it's like an upgraded version of his golden mask. And as you can see, it's actually got a light blue stud in it. Its eye. That is actually pretty cool. It gives a little more bit of a color. It comes in a solid white to like gunmetal gray or silver. I don't know what to call that. Dual injected. That is really, really cool. And I don't know why they did that, but they added another tiny eye. I'm guessing it's like able to switch or whatever. Who knows? But putting it on, it actually looks pretty good. It actually looks good on him. I have to say. Who knew? But that's not all. He also comes with a dual injected gold to trans light blue with another trans light blue stud in the eye. Identical molding, just different colors. This is supposedly the mask that allows him to perform the other gimmick alongside Melum. And those of you who are wondering, yes, it's pretty much the same color scheme that they used for the special ornamental protector mask that they used for Ikimu, the mask maker. So let's just put it on there, and I gotta say, I like the golden version a lot more than the white version. It really, really looks a lot better. Now, you've seen both of them separate, but what they're supposed to do is to combine their powers together. So, what do we do? Well, you see these little parts stuck to Kopaka's back. They have a blue pin here, and a white and a gray axle piece. And you see these parts in the chest of Melum. I do not know why they did not just give him two. Oh, yeah, I do. Well, yeah, I do see now. Because in order to use this, connect the pieces together, they actually had to use a special piece to hold the back part here and to the body. But, oh well. To get ready for this, you have to have the arms folded, moved back, and we will actually bring up Melum's head a little, move up the arms into position, like so, like he's getting ready to sneak up and go, boo! And that's basically what he's going to do with Kopaka. He's going to easily attach like so. Then you're going to bring the head of Melum down, move the tail down a little bit, and start finagling pieces into place. To the point where you are comfortable with showing it off. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but there we go. We've got Kopaka Beast Fusion Mode. It's said that whenever he's combined with a Toa, Melum will fill the Toa with unfailing valor and loyalty. I don't know what all that means. All I know is it looks pretty dang cool. Posability in the arms isn't all that limited. You could just move the claws that form the new shoulder pads out of the way and put them into poses. He actually loses a lot of posability in the head, though, due to Melum's head being on top of him. It's a, let's just say it's a, I guess you could call it an acceptable sacrifice. Yeah. He does have one little flaw, though, because his claws can just start moving on their own. And you can see that the feet just hang off there. I actually found a way around that. What you want to do is you want to get the whole tail assembly flush, move the feet, rotate the feet, the legs 90 degrees like this, and then rotate till the bottoms of the feet are pointing straight back. And then make sure that they're flush against the tail assembly, and it will not move. And it actually makes it look a lot better. I mean, with this, you can barely tell that it's that it's just a creature attached as a backpack. I mean, it just actually looks like part of him. I have to admit, even though it lacks posability in the head and adds a little more bulk to the back and makes his body a little bit wobbly, I gotta say I dig this. I dig it a lot. But one problem you gotta focus on is sometimes Melum's head will not stay where it is supposed to. And the claws can get in the way sometimes, but oh well. But yeah, I gotta say, giving Kopaka this new streamlined look with the new head and everything, with Melum's head, this has gotta be this is actually a cool little deal right here. Now, one thing I did notice is that this actually takes a bit of an aspect from uh, season 3, I believe, or no, it was Gen 1. If you recall the Toa Fantoka set, the Toa Fantoka could actually have Matoran attached to their bodies to give them extra powers. The Avmatoran, I should say, could be attached to the Toa Fantoka in order to give them more powerful capabilities. This is basically reviving that old gem. And I gotta say, they really kicked it off with this one. I picked this up for about $26 out of my local Walmart, and I gotta say, it was pretty much worth it. Unfortunately, though, it did not come with a shadow trap that the other beasts come with. That was a bit of a bummer. Because back in the old sets, the Toa and the Protectors, they came with the Skull Spiders. And in all of the other beast sets, they actually came with the traps. Unfortunately, they did not put a trap in this set. I don't know why. It's just a big bummer. So, in my opinion, if you ever find this set, go pick it up, because this is the only way you can get either of these two. And just get it for coolness sake. No pun intended. So, I have to say, just get it. Just get it. I would also like to mention that this is a shout out to IXRolloutIX out at RolloutReviews, saying that he has done a great job with his Bionicle reviews in the past. And I really would hate for him to miss out on this little aspect that I came up with on my own. I mean, I just bought this guy just today, so yeah, just go ahead and pick this guy up. Grab him. It's really cool, too. So, I'll be seeing you guys later. Adios.